Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Emerald County. Today I would like to finish Moor Heights, but before we get to that, we do need to rename Moor Heights. And we're going to get right to that. I just need to do this to make everything work. But we're going to name it Castle... That's not Castle, that's Castle Rock. There we go. And we're naming it Castle Rock. This wasn't the most recommended or the most highly voted comment in the last video, but Castle Rock is the name of a town that's not so far from me here in Northern Ireland, so I thought, you know, it kind of worked. It's something familiar, and it is also on the coast, so it kind of made sense. Although I don't know if the person that suggested Castle Rock was thinking of it in that regard and knew that that was a place here in Northern Ireland, or they saw castle and rocks. Either way, it's kind of fitting, so I'm kind of okay with it. Something we do need to get done today, as well as finishing Castle Rock and possibly moving the industrial zone, because that's something I'm considering. I'm considering moving the industry away from here and into this space, because people did point out, you know, having it that close to the castle is not the nicest thing in the world, and it is also going to pollute the trees around here and make this area a little bit unpleasant, so it might be worth moving all of that up into this space here. But we'll see. But yeah, we need to do all that. We need to have a look about and just make sure there's no trees in the roads, because City Skylines did actually have an update recently, a small patch that pretty much broke prop and tree anarchy. But everything generally seems to be working. So what I want to do first is I want to jump into this residential space, and I want to make it a little bit better. So what I'm actually going to do is go to policies. I'm going to go to, I don't really care about recycling, smoking ban. I mean, I could do a smoking ban, but I think it's a little bit much for an entire town to have that kind of thing. Parks and Rec is increased land value. Where I'm looking for a certain one, though. Parks and Education boost. You know what? It's probably worth turning off the education boost here, because that way people are gonna, you know, go... I mean, that straight up says prioritizes education over working. We don't really want that, so education boost is going. Free public transport, no. Taxation. Okay, so I'm gonna do a tax raise for high density residential and commercial. I'm gonna lower taxes for low density. And I'm actually tempted to maybe not lower them, but do a tax relief. What does that do? Lowers the tax rate by 2%, and then that was a tax raise, yeah. So we want to... Let's just leave it as it is, actually. As for city planning, I want to go for high-tech housing, because it increases land value, and that's something we need to do, because I do want to crank land value up in this town, so we can get some nice buildings. But hopefully, that will improve things around here a little bit. I heard a couple of dings. I don't know if... yeah, this building's upgrading. Okay. So, this guy here is upgrading, which is nice. That's a nice building. But what I want to do, and I'm going to cheat to show you, is I want to get a bunch of high-level buildings. Buildings that look a bit like, say, this. And when we get this building, what I want to do is demolish these guys just along here. And I'm going to do this entire street. I don't know if this will work because the land value might not be high enough. But demolish all of those, press T, and I can basically clone the building and have a street of all the same building, which will actually look really cool once we have the land value to sustain this sort of thing. So if we do that, this may or may not work. It's going to be interesting. But all those buildings pop up. Again, the land value might not be so that we can sustain that, but I'm curious to see. We'll see how that turns out. We'll probably see some pop-ups saying, hey, your land value is not good enough for this. But that's okay. What we'll do in the meantime, I suppose, is I'll get rid of those two buildings, and I will de-zone that area. And if we come in with a park, like, say, I mean, we could do that one. Or there is a sort of long... That one, yeah. So if we do that one there, that does increase the land value of the area just a little bit, which I think could be... Well, I think it increases the leisure, which also increases the land value. I've never looked into the details of what things do in this, I'm going to be honest. That was a mistake that I frequently made, I think, in my first season of City Skylines, was that I was calling land value leisure when it wasn't. I don't know. I can't quite remember, but hopefully we can sustain those buildings. But we will just have to wait and see, I suppose. Ah, yes, here we go. The problems are popping up at this point. Low land value in the area. We can possibly fix that. It's difficult to say, but I can get some small parks in here. I think we'll go for a small... That's a small playground. There we go. We'll go for a small playground just there. Alt L, there it is. There it is. That's the shortcut for anarchy. We'll chuck a small playground just there. And something else I'd like to do is actually come in and de-zone that bit of low-density commercial. I'm going to replace it with high-density residential, just so we can get more, get some new people into the town here. So hopefully that'll work. A lot of buildings getting abandoned around here still. That is going to be a thing for a while. That's just sort of the nature of things. Land value here really isn't good enough. Where is the... That's land value. I mean, that's... Actually, I guess land value is kind of there. It's not high just yet. It could be higher. We really do need to find a place to put the Eden project. And I'm thinking we'll probably not end up putting it in the city that we end up building around here. I think it could be kind of interesting to have the Eden project and stuff like all the futuristic buildings such as the fusion power plant and the space elevator and the medical center and the Hadron Collider. I think it could be kind of fun to have those in their own sort of facility, almost, like make a really futuristic sort of science center for all of those things. But that is going to be a little bit off in the future because we currently don't have the means to make that a thing. So hopefully we can improve the land value around here. But what I'd like to do first, before we get to any of that, is I do want to decorate all of this space and get a bunch of new stuff in here. I also think it could be a good idea to put a little bit more residential zoning just there to make this a little bit more sort of tightly packed in and all that stuff. So that could be kind of nice. That will hopefully make that area look a little bit better. This space in here really is annoyingly empty, but I think I'll just put a bunch of trees in there. I reckon that's probably the best bet. Also, I do want to put a line of trees along here. Because, realistically speaking, that would be the case. You wouldn't have the back gardens of some people's houses completely open like this when there's buildings like this behind them, because people can look out their back window and see into the backyard, and so we're going to put trees up there to make that sort of natural wall between the taller buildings and the smaller buildings. And there's actually a surprising number of people using this, this pathway here. Which reminds me, we need to get public transport, don't we? At some point, we need to get a couple of bus lines around here, because we do have a bus depot. So, that might be worth doing. Also, these guys are all going to be abandoned very soon. That's fine. Anyway, let's get on with decorating this town. We've got a lot of work to do. Let's get it done. Okay, so a lot of the detailing is pretty much done. I have left this space here open and this one open, as well as a couple of little corners down here that I will just touch up right now because of... Okay, where's the me brush? All right, let's put that big old tree in there. Now we'll put just a couple of those ones about in here as well. Fill in this space much in the same way, just a small handful of trees. And these spaces down here, I really don't know what to do with these. I've sort of been not concepting or trialing any of this. I was, you know, looking at ways to fill in these spaces off camera for a while, and it was almost an episode, except I forgot to save my game when I closed it because I had to go and do some work for, well, something else. And, I mean, even then, the most I could do was this, but putting in trees like that really just... I feel like that makes this whole thing look a little bit overcrowded. And even this down here sort of does the same thing now that I think about it. So I kind of want to avoid that kind of thing, maybe. Maybe it would be a good idea to try and fill these spaces in with the... Where is it? This little concrete brush here. I'm thinking that might be a good idea, because that way it makes it look a little bit more like a town center. It makes it all, you know, nicely paved. It is going to be a hell of a lot of work to do this, though, because I need to do it in such a way that I'm not necessarily overlapping the buildings. Because if I overlap the buildings, there's a chance that they won't grow back, basically, is the easiest way to put it. Because buildings will not be built on these little tiles that I'm putting down. Because technically those tiles are taking up, you know, the space where the building would go. So I need to be very careful to just go around the edges of the building, barely touching it, to make sure that they do, in fact, you know, get rebuilt should they be demolished for whatever reason. So this one can sort of slink up there, that's fine. That should be fine about there. Yeah, it is. Do a little bit just there as well. I said there to patch up that little bit. This one's going to be a little tricky on this side, I suppose. There's going to be a gap here and there that will need patched up, but I can do that, no problem. Let's come along to there. Let's go to the couple of patches just here and there that need to be filled up. Like so. Let's fill up that bit as well. And then we'll just do along here as well. So let's just do that. And the same along. In fact, you know what? That would look much better if I do some trees in there. Not this bit. But this bit here could look a lot better if I did trees in those bits. And yeah, I think that's actually done a pretty good job at making this whole area just look a little bit better. I do notice there are some plants here that I'm going to need to get rid of, but that's not too much of an issue. Yeah, I like that. I actually really like that. All paved like that. So let's go ahead and grab just a couple of trees that we can just plop into those spaces. Something a bit like that. We could put some red flowers in there if I really wanted to. Just a couple of them like that. We could mix it up with some other colors as well. So say some blue ones, why not? They're not exactly perfectly placed, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Although I slightly want to move that red one to there. So we'll do that, we'll do that, we'll do that, we'll do that, we'll do that. Then we'll get the blue ones just opposite them. Then in between those, I guess I could put down some regular bushes. I guess that could work. I really hope these buildings grow back. Let's have a look. Yeah, they do. Perfect. So buildings get demolished and they do grow back. Unfortunately, sometimes they grow back at different size. Oh no, that one grew back with a tree in that space. That's fine. Okay, now what about this space? There we go. Beautiful. So it seems everything is growing back the way I would want it to. That's absolutely excellent. Let's go and grab myself some little bushes there that we can just stick in between the colored flowers, just like so. All different sizes, but that adds a little bit of variety to the decoration here. There we go. I think that looks quite nice. I actually really enjoy that area. I think having it paved like that is a pretty good bet. As for this space, I'm not really sure what to do with it because I don't know if I can put anything on top of the paving. Like if I do this and this, and then I pave the little bits at the corners or the edges, I don't think I can put it's this category. I don't know if this bench will actually show up. Oh, it does! Oh, that's excellent, right. Okay, in that case, we're gonna do this little thing just in there, because why not? Actually, we'll do that at the corner. I think that could look kind of nice just at the corner there. Although a little bit out of place, it does look kind of nice. I like it. I do. Let's get some benches in there then. Let me just see what kind of thing we're gonna do. We'll do a little row of benches just there, I guess. Just so 1, 2, 3, and that's 4. They actually lined up really nicely. I'm surprised. I didn't think they would. We'll put a plant beside them. Bit of decoration, I suppose. We could put another little flower pot over here if I wanted to. Don't know that I want to. I do want to put one there, though. Because it's something a little bit different. This one is an interesting little planter. Which could sort of go there, maybe? Just sort of lining the little courtyard? No. I feel like I need to find something else that can line the courtyard. Do I have a wall? That's a good question. Because if I have a wall section here, that would be really useful. I'm not convinced that I do. No. Bloody massive wall, though. Possibly a bit too big. Have I got a smaller one? I have my doubts. I mean, for one, a lot of this stuff I can't even tell if it's the actual asset or not. Although that's not so bad. That would actually look better in the corner than the little thing I had. So a little fountain there. Get rid of that. Then in the middle space, I wish I had something like a statue. I mean, I'm pretty sure I do have statues. I also have portable toilets. What's this? It's a barrier prop. Not really what I wanted. Also not what I wanted. So this is what I settled on for the park. We have a bunch of benches and tables. We have some bike stands, a little fountain, a little sign, and some plants about there. As for these this space and this space, I don't know that they necessarily need to also be parks. I think they need to be parks, but maybe not in the same sense. What I reckon we could do here is go with the pedestrian path and maybe just go from there to, say, there. So that nicely follows along the edge there. What I'll then do is I want to put a tree into that space. I don't know that the purple one is the one to go with, though. That's the thing. That's me dilemma. I need to, what about the red one? Definitely not. Let's see. If I get any trees that'll work in there quite nicely. I guess that little one does. That big one does as well. I guess that's okay. I didn't really want to fill that space in. I wanted to add something interesting to that little bit of pathway there. I guess I'll do a couple of trees about here, just to make it look kind of interesting. Makes it look a little bit more paved. That's my thinking. It looks like this area actually has a little bit of a, it's sort of a park. It's sort of not a park. That's what we're going for there. As for this space is probably and absolutely going to be some kind of park. So let's see what we can do. Let's get the paint brushes out and paint ourselves a happy little park in here. So there we go. We've got that space nicely paved. This space over here, actually, let me just do something with this. Because I forgot I had these basketball courts. And I also have tennis courts. I feel like they should be added into these spaces over here. Alternatively, I could make a small sports center. Though I don't know if I want to do that in this town or if I want to do that in another town. I think that might be something for another time. Having a small sports center. So we'll get a couple of trees like that in there. As for this park, I reckon I mean, that's technically a swimming pool. That's also a swimming pool. We want to be careful that we don't just put a bloody swimming pool into the public park. But there's not really anything here that's gonna work all too well in a public park. I could add some signs if I really wanted to. And a big old billboard. But that seems a little out of character for a little sign like this. That's a sliding ad. I guess I'll add one of those over here. Why not? Just put that there. Does that actually move? That's my question. Does that ad actually change? I don't think it does. Fair enough. That's fine by me. Don't think I can add this anywhere. But yeah, I don't think I want to put like a bunch of advertisements around here. We do have signs and stuff like that I can use, but I think they're a little bit much. We're obviously not going to be using keys or anything like that. Although we do have... Oh, I can place road arrows? Since when have I been able to do this? That's a bus lane, apparently. That's, the manhole. Okay. What else? What's this? Oh, it's snow. Okay. Road arrows. Okay, well, that's interesting. I'm not really interested in those, though. And that sentence just completely contradicted itself. That's interesting. Shame I'm not interested. That's, yeah, that's a sentence. Okay, let's add that to there. And that to there. Then in the middle of those, I'll just add a tree. And a tree. And I think even that's a nice touch, to be honest. Yeah, I like it. I do. It's a shame I can't see those from far away. I mean, I can hit, what is it? Alt. Dot? No. Control? Ah, there we go. I do have a shortcut, a hotkey that'll let me, like, see everything in high detail from a distance. Like, if you look at the trees, you can see, like, not necessarily the trees' level of detail doesn't change, but the building level of detail does, and the amount of cars you can see in the roads changes. Just the level of detail in general, I can up it from a distance if I so desire. I just generally don't. I only use that for screenshots, because the game will grind to a bit of a halt if I do. Eventually. Not with a town this size, but with a, if you have a hefty town, it absolutely will. That said, I think we're probably getting to completion with Castle Rock. I did mention I wanted to move the industrial area. I think that might be a good idea. I do. I think getting rid of the industrial zoning around here could be a great idea. But I do want to plan out the new space first, because I don't necessarily think it all needs to be used, because I think, I mean, that's nearly the size of the town. We don't want industrial space the size of the town. And I'm also debating whether or not it would be a good idea or a bad idea to have a cargo harbor here, because it does connect really nicely to the shipping lanes, but it's difficult to know if that's a good idea, because the amount of traffic generated from it could be ridiculous. That said, technically, we can, you know, connect from here to there and sort of do that thing for the cargo harbor, so it has its own dedicated road beyond the town. So that might be a good idea. It's just a difficult one. It really is. Also, did I place those trees? Look how neat I was with those trees. It's a shame I'm getting rid of them. Oh, boy. Okay, well, I think if we do get rid of this, this could be another little suburb of some sort. I think that could be kind of nice with a nice big park there. So let's first off look into the zoning and start getting rid of these guys. We'll also get rid of all of these guys. Get rid of all the industry, etc., etc. That is going to break the link with the electricity for the town, though. No, it isn't, because this connects over here. Okay, okay. So why do we want to do this? I guess bulldoze you guys. And I'll start working on the road layout, I suppose. Okay, this was a bit more of an involved project than I thought it would be, but we do now have another area of low-density housing on this side of town, with a bunch of paths in between, which is kind of cool. And I think I do have the crosswalk mod, so I can technically add in some crosswalks there, and we'll get just a couple across there so people can, you know, get about the place kind of easily, which is, of course, useful. I also did this, as you will have seen already. I don't know why. Oh, I did this. It's like you haven't seen it. I mean, you just saw me do it, so there you go. But yeah, I basically duplicated the style that we have going on over here with this sort of weird avenue type thing. And yeah, I just did it over here as well because it kind of matches. I will say, I really love how this all comes together. I love this park here. I think it looks excellent. And just in general, I mean, I'm going to keep this road. I realized this road was here originally to service industrial vehicles, but I guess now it sort of services this little sort of suburb over here. And I don't know, I just really enjoy that suburb. I really like it. It's something small and kind of simple, and it does the job. Now, what kind of trees are you? I think it's, I think that is, yeah, that tree. Okay, so I just want to get a bunch of these in here to fill up the space a little bit, and just you know, make it look like we're sort of sticking with the environment, because that's something that I really wanted to do, and I know I've sort of strayed away from the sort of not interrupting the trees too much. But I mean, this is still clearly in sort of a clearing. That's a weird sentence. Clearly in a clearing. Interesting sentence. Anyway, yeah, it's clearly an area where there's not as many trees. It still kind of works. I do think I need to do a bit of work here and there to sort of blend my own trees with the trees that were there on the map to begin with, but we're getting there, definitely. Also, how's traffic doing here? Let me just quickly use the report tool and see what we got. So we got 20 trucks just going back and forth on that road. Some vehicles heading oh, that way, that's fine. We have 73 vehicles using that road, and in general, we have 59 using that road. That's fine. So this road isn't actually as busy as I thought it would be. It might get a bit busier once traffic starts backing up, because basically one vehicle at a time can go into this little section of road, which is going to be a problem. So we may need to look into another solution for the train track there. But that's something I'll deal with in the future. Also, a lot of abandoned buildings out here, which I assume is down to the fact that well, actually, in saying that, there are a lot of the buildings that aren't abandoned. I guess some of them are, some of them aren't. That's fine, I suppose. Not enough workers, yeah. I guess we'll figure that out. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do in the rest of this space. I may just build the trees out a little bit and sort of just have a very small industrial space off on its own there, but I may also sort of build up with some buildings out here and then put a barrier of trees between the industrial space and the buildings, because it could be worth having a few more people just living in these spaces. And I will say, looking at Castle Rock from here, I love how this looks. I really do. It would be nice to fill this space up a little bit. I think that could be something to do, or I guess just filling it in with trees is probably going to do the job. Yeah, let's give that a quick shot. Let's see what we can do with trees. So if I select you and go to a reasonably sized brush, make the strength a bit lower, make the brush a bit smaller, and then just sort of do this to fill in that space. Do that to bring some of the bigger trees in, which makes it sort of blend a little bit better. Yeah, that's actually helped a fair bit. So now all we need to do is kind of the same thing in that space. And there as well. And yeah, I think that actually really helped. Oh man, I love how this is looking. Let me get some of these other trees just in here to make that a little bit more dense along the coastline there. Yeah, I like it. Let's make that a little bit more dense. Let's take these ones away from the right along the side of the water. And I would say we're pretty much done with Castle Rock. I mean, we haven't made huge changes in this particular episode, because a lot of it was kind of intricate details and stuff like that, but I really do enjoy how all of it's come together. It's taken a little bit of time, but I am definitely pleased with how this whole thing has turned out. I do think I want to, before we wrap things up, I do think I want to look into another little sort of housing space up around here. So let's have a look and see what we could do. So if I want this to go off like that, it's going to need to be a sort of 55-degree angle. That's fine. So if we do that, I mean, this isn't... Oh, you know what I should do? I should do something a bit completely different here. Hold on. I sort of have an idea. It's just hit me like a brick, but I have a bit of an idea. Let me turn on snapping. Let me just sort of border this road like so. So I don't have to deal... I just don't want to have to deal with zoning for a second. So if I just border the road like that, I don't have to deal with zoning in that space. If I go to use these little 2-lane alleys, I can sort of do... I think this will work. If I do this, if we go, say... Maybe not that close, maybe sort of up in this space. If we go... like that, and then bring this across a little bit. This is going to be tricky because the way these the zoning works with these little roads, but I will figure it out. That's actually perfect there. So then we do that, which I said was perfect. That was apparently a lie. Excellent. I'll just do this with regular roads to make it work. So if I do... Okay, I'm going to have to rebuild that bloody road because the zoning's weird. So if I do that, and then I do that, and that. I did that one wrong. That's fine. I was a little bit concerned there. That's what I want. Can I not downgrade those to these roads and have the zoning still sort of work? Kind of, actually. That's not terrible. So if I do that, the zoning should still sort of work. That's fine. What was the distance on... There to there. That was 7. Okay. So if I do... I guess 7 and that. And then... 7 and that again. Just sort of link those together like that. Change them all into these little roads here. I'm not entirely certain this will work, but I'm curious to see. So let me just link all these together. I really need to get the zoning toggle mod at some point. I will absolutely get that, but for the time being, I'm just gonna work with paths and stuff like that to make this work. Let me just get rid of some trees around here. So if I come in here with my low density housing, if I do something like that and something like that, or maybe I should try, maybe high density would be a better bet. Maybe going back to the bigger roads would be better for this, because the zoning will actually work the way I want it to. So let me just upgrade this all to a bunch of regular style roads. Then come in here with just a bunch of high density zoning. Get rid of you and you. And then pedestrian paths need to go up between them. I'm not entirely sure that this will work. I have no idea if this will work, but I'm curious to see what those buildings would look like when they build up. If they build up. I mean, they don't have any... Ah, here we go. So what are these going to look like? How tall are they going to be? Not that bad, actually. That's an interesting look. Okay. It looks a little too built up for my liking, I think. I think what I want to try and experiment with is low density in there. So let's just do that and see what it looks like. So if we get some low density houses in there, we are going to get a bunch of little houses like that. Now my question is, what happens if I upgrade them? What would these look like when fully upgraded? Okay, proper little townhouse again. Let's upgrade you again and see what you look like. Because again, this could be kind of useful. Now you're a little bit too fancy for my liking there, but that's fine. Then you become that kind of house, and then what would you be at top level? You would be very fancy indeed. Okay. We're gonna have to try and stop this area from being ridiculously fancy, which may be a little bit difficult to do, but we'll see. But I kind of like that. I think that's kind of cool. I think just having that little sort of neighborhood there could kind of work. I just want to, I want to take this, it's not really going to be joined to this area very well. That's the problem. But it will service it, is the thing. Like, if I do that, or even, you know, downgrade it to that kind of road. If I do that, and then also have a connection from the highway road over here. If I do that, and then run you into that, oh, will you go, will that go? No, it won't. It won't go straight, okay. That will, though, so that's fine. But if I do that kind of thing, I mean, that is a bunch of new houses that will nicely service the industrial space. Which is kind of important. We need to make sure there's enough people working out here to make the industrial space actually worth having. And thus far, we haven't really got that. I just don't know that I like this. I feel like I could do more with this to make it look a little bit better, but I feel like I'd probably want to do that with some custom assets and themes and stuff like that. I mean, I could fill this all in with trees to make it blend together, but I think we'll revisit this idea. We can revisit this idea either in the next episode or a future episode, because I don't think I've fleshed the idea out enough to know what I want to do with it exactly. I do really enjoy the industrial zone that we have going on here, though. I think it's simple. It's not necessarily beautifully designed. I could, I guess, change that a little bit. If I get rid of you guys and come in here with... No, where is it? It's in here. I could get some nice industrial yards in here if I really wanted to, and I think... I mean, there's no harm in getting some nice industrial yards in, so we'll get this one. And we'll get this one. In fact, no, we won't. I want to shake those up a little bit. I want to see if I can get one that'll just go over the road. So we have... Let's see. I know there's some in here. 10 by 8. That does not go over the correct bit of road. So if I flip that around... There we go. So that's kind of cool. That just goes over that bit of road. Makes it look like a little bit more of a shipping yard. Although there's not really much in it. Let's see. What else have we got? We have 16 by 2, which is way too long, but would go over the road. I don't know that I have other ones. This is a, what, 4x4 self-storage. Again, not really what we're looking for. I think that one that we had might be the only one that goes over the road. There's a big old 10 by 8 yard, which is kind of cool, but it's still a little bit bare. I think I just want something that's packed with a bunch of stuff going on, so I'm just going to go with 3 of those. Because that way it looks like there's just a bunch of stuff happening. Makes it look a little bit more like a nice big industrial yard. And I think they actually contribute to the land value of the area. I don't know. They might. I mean, a lot of stuff just upgraded around here, so I'm assuming it does. Also, that's a beautiful building. That's a really beautiful building. Look at that. Okay, well, I like this. I do. I really like how this industrial space has turned out. It would be nice to get something in there, but I don't know that I have anything that's small enough to take up that space. That's 7 by 3. That's 6 by 2. Yeah, that didn't really work. Could I move that along one? Not really. Again, not really. I could probably get it there. Kind of looks cool, but... Oh, come on. There's got to be something I can fit in that space. I'm gonna find something. I'm telling you. Well, I say that. I don't think I am. I really don't think there's enough stuff to fit in there. Where else could we put something like this, though? Something down there. Maybe a little self-storage yard down at that corner. Could look kind of cool. Yeah, it takes up the space quite nicely. Possibly the same with this corner, although I think I do have other 4x4 stuff. I do. So we'll chuck a 4x4 yard there, which has a truck on it. Looks quite cool next to that building. And maybe I should do something similar alongside this building here, because I do have some like a 7x3 yard, which actually would look really good if I level the terrain. So let me go to this, let me do that, let me just do that, let me just get the correct height, which is that, and bring the terrain out a little bit, like so. We'll do the same on this side as well. Although I don't know this side's going to work as well because of the water pumps, so we might do something else there entirely. But I can put that there, which looks absolutely excellent, and then just level the terrain a little bit. Or not level it, but smooth the terrain around it a little bit. There we go, that looks better. As for this side, just smooth it out as well, because there's not really much I can do. There we go. I like it. I really do. I really, really like that. This space in here could probably do something a little bit different. I think I'm going to just go ahead and D-zone all of you guys and build that up with some actual buildings. I think I'll do the same here just to fill up that space as well. Because the space... What the hell are you doing? Sir, you've built on the road? If you could not do that, that'd be great. There we go, that's a little bit better. Yeah, that fills up the space quite nicely. Makes it look a little bit more industrial. It's a bit of a gap between everything going on. Let me just bulldoze you guys so that that builds up properly. But yeah, I like this. I really do. I think this little industrial area looks quite nice. Needs a bit of work with trees. I'm not quite sure what I'll do for that, but I think Castle Rock is pretty much done. If there was one last thing to do, it would be bus lines, but we'll get to that in the future. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you kindly for watching, folks. This has been City Skylines Emerald County, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!